Good morning, everybody, and welcome to PSG of Mercer County. And of course, as I say every Friday, happy Aloha Friday. I do wear my Hawaiian shirt every Friday. A few other days during the week also in the summer, but certainly every Friday. So if you see me about town, you'll see me with an Aloha shirt. Not if I'm doing yard work on a Friday. I just wear a grimy t-shirt. PSG, the Professional Service Group of Mercer County, is a group that is here for you, anybody that is in any kind of career transition. It doesn't really matter why you may be. It could be that you've relocated to the area, or that you're taking your own career into your own hands, or your former employer decided to have a reorganization that impacted you. That happened to me twice in my career. We're here to provide additional information, assistance, guidance, and support that'll help you be more efficient and more effective in your own job search. In addition to being Aloha Friday, today is the 9th of September, and there's some birthdays, famous birthdays today. Adam Sandler, if you're an Adam Sandler fan, is 56 years old today, so a little bit of trivia. And Hugh Grant, actor Hugh Grant, is 62, so same age as me, a few months younger. And if some of you are fans of Kentucky Fried Chicken, Colonel Harlan Sanders, the Kentucky Colonel, would have been 132 today. Nobody else has been 132, so not unfair that he likely didn't make it. Maybe it had something to do with all the fried chicken, I don't know. But it was, we celebrate the anniversary of his birth as well. I didn't find any national days that I really found interesting today, so I decided to celebrate some birthdays. PSG of Mercer County does have a lot of resources for you, anybody that's in a career transition. You don't have to be just a member of our group or attendant to use our resources. Among them, we do have our LinkedIn group, so of course very relevant. Today Ken will be talking about LinkedIn, another feature. LinkedIn groups are a way of people to meet and group together, join these little organizations, sub-organizations based on some common topic. There are tens of thousands, millions, I don't know how many groups there are. There are many. Some of them have lots and lots of members. I mean, one group that's about 1 million members, I believe it's the Project Manager group. When you're in a LinkedIn group, it does mean that no matter how many connections you have in LinkedIn that you can reach out to as a first-degree connection, you can send messages to anybody in the group, so they can be powerful allies to you in your job search. And we do have our own LinkedIn group. It is called PSG of Mercer County. So if you are new to PSG of Mercer County or have not yet joined our LinkedIn group, I encourage you to do so. Now, when you do find our group, it's called PSG of Mercer County on LinkedIn, there's a join button, but we will not accept you immediately, because what we do is we do check our attendance rolls to make sure that you are someone that has been to at least one of our meetings, either in person or virtually. And we do that because we want to make sure that anyone who's in our LinkedIn group really has something at stake for job search. We don't just want the list collectors and name collectors to join our group. So we will check our attendance rolls, whether it's via the GoToMeeting platform we use, or a spreadsheet that we keep here, or our email list. Our LinkedIn group has over 1,700 members. They're all people that have been in our meeting, either online or in person, at least once, and many have been here lots of times. So there's a good chance, if you need to reach out to anybody in our group, there's a good chance they will contact you back eventually. We do also have a website. Our website is psgofmercercounty.org. psgofmercercounty.org. Please go check that out. It is more than just a landing page and an event calendar, which it does have that stuff. It is over 120 pages of content. So it's a lot of information that is out there. So do take a look at our website. On the right side of every page, the way the frame is set up, is a link and logo to our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel, we have recorded almost all of our virtual presentations in the last 2.5 years. We have 111 recorded programs. If there's a topic of interest that you would like to see, or in another day or so, if you'd like to watch this one again, you can do so through our YouTube channel. Just click on the link on our website, click on the YouTube logo on the website, and you go to our YouTube channel. So there's a lot of information that we are providing to our job seekers. So once again, just a protocol for today, do keep your microphones on mute just as a courtesy. Certainly in lawn care season, there could be a rogue leaf blower going around or garbage truck, we just want to make sure that that noise doesn't come through, or maybe you need to talk to Alexa. We don't need to hear about that, so just keep your microphones on mute. And do use chat for questions and answer. And so we will either read your question on your behalf, or we can unmic you and you can ask your question of Ken directly. The first half or so, about 20 or 30 minutes, will be Ken giving this presentation. You should be seeing the slide deck right now. And then he is going to switch to doing a demonstration of LinkedIn audio events. You can watch it on your GoToMeeting, or you can exit the GoToMeeting and you can go to the LinkedIn audio event directly. So the link is in chat as the first entry in chat. So for us here in the room, we'll just watch it online here. Okay, so with that, PSG of Mercer County is pleased to welcome back Ken Lang. Ken Lang is the founder of KML Consultants, which offers individual LinkedIn and networking training. He recently launched My Networking Central, a one-stop searchable database where you can find networking events and speakers. I'm on there. This group is on there. As a LinkedIn rock star and LinkedIn voice, Kenneth is considered a top LinkedIn resource for job search. During the 2020 pandemic, he began a weekly LinkedIn Lunch and Learn networking event on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. What started out as a 6-person group now has nearly 1,000 members and 65 to 70 weekly attendees with special national and renowned speakers. PSG of Mercer County is pleased to welcome one of our favorite LinkedIn gurus, Ken Lang. And virtual applause.
Thank you very much, everyone. Good to see some new old faces here. One thing, just to let you guys know, if you haven't done LinkedIn audio, there's going to be a link, which I put in the chat in the beginning, and hopefully David will later on. So the last slide here actually has a link to go directly to the chat. And the way that'll work is we'll just continue the conversation there. And I'll explain in the presentation a little bit what that is involved. But I also wanted to do a little bit of background about some of the changes that are on LinkedIn, starting with the basics, which everyone by now probably should be somewhat familiar with. I talk a lot about creator mode, which is important to understand what the difference is. In addition to the hashtags and the like, one thing which is really great about it is that you can add a website link to your profile, and you can have access to LinkedIn Live. You can go back and forth between the two. One thing that I wish LinkedIn would do is give each of us the option to do a follow versus a connect. The primary way to connect is follow if you're on creator mode. You still can connect with people, and the reason they do that is because we have so many different connection requests, and it's a way for them to try to cut that down. Again, I would recommend that you go back and forth to see what the difference is. But this is one of the great things about it. When you have creator mode, you can actually have a link on your profile, a clickable link, and it doesn't have to be a link to a business or anything. It'd be a link to a call to action, and it's a really cool thing to do. And ever since I put this link on, My Networking Central has gotten a lot more traffic. And the way you do that is you actually select the pencil icon, and you can then update it on here. The purpose of doing creator mode, we talk about this, is it's about understanding the differences as to what is involved. But I wanted to focus today on a question which I also get a lot. Premium versus basic for job seekers. That's like the $64,000 question. Should I do premium or not? And you can do it for free for 30 days, provided you keep track and make sure that you're not going to be charged. But I wanted to put some slides in about what some of the differences are, just so you know. You have access to more emails. I know libraries have access to LinkedIn Learning for the most part with a subscription, but that isn't always a guarantee if you don't have a library by you. You have additional search and browsing results, which is important, and you have 90 days of who viewed your profile. Now, these all are things which have been around for a while, but one of the things that most people don't take advantage of is when you apply for a job, it'll tell you number of applicants. It'll tell you the applicant's skills, the seniority level. I think those are very relevant as background, but even more now, you also have the ability to get interview questions. Tell me about yourself, not just the content, but you can get sample answers. That's something, again, which there's so much information out there. It's good to know about that. What I like also is you can look at the company and get a little bit of context on the company. What's recently just rolled out is something called Meet the Hiring Team. So when you go premium, you can find out the actual hiring team member, and you can find out specifics from that person. This is actually one of the things which is just being rolled out now. So a company will mention who the hiring team is, could be the recruiter, could be other people, and you can directly connect with them. And what rolled out yesterday, which I haven't had a chance to put a slide in for, is there's going to be, instead of jobs based on your profile, it's going to mention all the people in your network that can help you look for a specific job on this side too. We're still playing around with it, but at the very least, you have this Meet the Hiring Team. And again, it's just another way from a context standpoint to try things out and see if they work. Before, where there was LinkedIn Audio, though, there was something called LinkedIn Live. And I think most of you here probably have attended one of my LinkedIn Lives. Some of you have even been guests. What I like about it, besides the fact that it's something that I can do any way I want, is it's a streaming feature. I can save it, and above all, I can react to it. So I'm going to put a few slides in about how that works. It looks like this. My audio event will look very similar to this today as well. You can invite anyone from your network. There are some things to consider. These are my lessons learned. First, you need to have a streaming service account like StreamYard. If you do a Zoom, you can do a Zoom, but it's not a LinkedIn Live. Biggest challenge for me was the time lag. From the time I'll be talking, it may take 30 to 45 seconds for me to actually see the comments. So I'd say, hi, how's everyone doing today? And of course, I'd be like waiting, and people would respond, but I wouldn't see it right away, which is why you want to practice one of these first before doing it yourself. I practiced it with a couple of people first, learned what worked and what didn't work. And the first time I actually did a LinkedIn Live, I forgot to record it, which is a really good way to learn things like that. I didn't record it, so it was two of us chatting, and it's a good thing I learned that way, because it would have been very embarrassing if I had a LinkedIn Live and I was talking, thought people were listening, and of course they weren't. Above all, though, you want to have a plan for how often you do it. Like if you were going to do, like I do these weekly, but it took me a while to get to that place. I wanted to make sure I had topics, wanted to make sure I had guests. There's nothing worse than saying you're going to do something and then not show up. There have been a couple I haven't done, and I've let my network know. Things do come up, but people kind of expect me to be there. And one lesson learned was not to rely on Meetup anymore, because I a couple of times forgot to change the link on Meetup, and people were like, why aren't you there? But again, this is just a part of learning how to do things. So again, I'm going to go through these very quickly. This is just how it looks. You can contact people afterwards. This is something which is very underutilized. When the event's over, go back and comment and follow up with people on your event. Very few people do that. As a host, I always want to go back, and as a good best practice, thank everyone for attending, because during the LinkedIn Live, I'm not necessarily going to see all the conversations. And I like it because I can check out analytics. It helps me understand who's viewing it when. And what I have found over time is the more people watch these afterward than during. It's impossible to have a 1 o'clock event in the US that someone in Australia is not going to be able to watch at 1 or 2 in the morning. And someone in California may not be awake at 10 in the morning, and someone in Europe may not be awake 7 or 8 o'clock, which is another reason to have an event, and also think about it from a topical standpoint. Because if you talk about something which is happening the day of the event, if someone watches it 3 or 4 days from now, it's not going to have the same context. So again, that's just other things. The other changes I want to go through because they're all pretty recent, and if you don't know about them, you really can't use the platform the best way. The ability now to add skills to your work experience is so important. Now, everyone knows where their skills are, but what you can do now is you can add, by selecting the pencil by each of your jobs, you can add as many or as few skills as you want. So if you do the pencil, you can add skills from the bottom. And what I will do, hopefully, is if anyone has any questions after it, I'll be very happy to do to go through some of these in more specifics. The thing that I don't like about this is the ability to add a career break. You can add a career break, which is a way of, it's considered a placeholder from LinkedIn standpoint as to what to do. What I don't like about it is LinkedIn thought, well, since people are out because of COVID and other things, let people account for the time. The problem is that the reasons that that are given here are really, they're not searchable for one thing, and there's no reason to put them in. You're better off, instead of adding a career break, putting down that you are a volunteer at company A, or that you have certain job specs. I mean, don't rely on LinkedIn to really know what you're thinking about. And I actually created a poll about this because, again, I knew what my thoughts were, and most of the people there weren't fans of it. And a lot of the polls that I do just to get an idea of my audience, because I know what I think. It doesn't mean that other people agree. So, again, you can create the poll from here. These are all different things to do. And the best part about this is that you can create a poll about anything and everything. It's a great way to actually get engagement. And the ironic thing is that most of the polls I get, when I get the results of the polls, that becomes another poll, another content thing. So now this is something which I'm very interested in seeing how it works. Does anyone remember how the screen used to be with how you connected with people? It would ask you how you knew the person. And if you selected the I don't know, you'd have to ask an email address. This is now being tested to roll out a little bit differently for third connections and the like. So it now will ask you how you know the person. And it will ask you, how do you know the person? Is it a colleague? Is it a classmate, etc.? And if you don't know each other, it's not going to let the connection request go through. The issue I have with this is you can still work around it. But what's good for me is if I get one of those, I'm going to find out on the other side. See, this person says they don't know and haven't met me, so I can look at that. And a lot of the connection requests I get, there's no context. And I think it's very important. We disagree in the training audience a little bit about this. I want to have a network of people, a good network, a smaller network. I'm not a person that cares about 30,000 or 100,000 followers. I really, really don't, because it's impossible to do that. If you want to follow me, that's great. You can look at my content, but I'm not going to be able to engage with a lot of people. Now, the reason you want to engage, and this is such a hard thing for people, I think, in some cases to grasp, is why. Well, the reason is why not. And if you're really afraid, comment on someone else's content, post about something relatable. What's changed a lot in the last few months is people are not ashamed to admit they're looking for a job. They're not ashamed to put themselves out there. And what I find more than anything else is most people are so afraid to post, and it's called imposter syndrome. People have this mindset that they have nothing to say that's valuable. Well, guess what? You have as much value as anyone else. And if you're really not sure about what to do, then think about from the standpoint that you have an opportunity to reach lots and lots of people here. And it can be, what's happening today, right or wrong, is that everyone's posting about what's going on in England. And it's the nature of it. And I actually did a post today. I said, I cannot relate to what's going on in England. I can't. I can kind of get it, but what I see going on the news and the like, is beyond the scope of what I understand. So I mean, I just mentioned that it's hard for me to understand, but at the same time, I want to show some support. And I said today very specifically, this is not the day to talk about the past and all the things in the crown and all that. Just to have a supportive post. But a lot of people there are saying that they're not going to post today on LinkedIn just out of respect. So you want to be topical. I mean, this weekend is 9/11. There's going to be so many posts about 9/11, so many pictures of the Twin Towers. Post if you want, but again, just realize that you want to have a reason for posting with whatever you do. And if you don't know what to post, then just comment. So these are all the considerations with that. The relevancy is important. Longevity is more important. The hashtags are important. Alex does a lot of tagging with the @sign, and that's a great thing. And I'll do that from time to time too. You want to make sure if you tag lots of people that they're not going to take their tags off, which they can do, because that's a ding on the algorithm. But all of us that we do a lot of posting, we will post from time to time with lots of people that we want to tag. We want to get engaged. So before I go into some of the other changes, these are just the backgrounds about having the picture viewable, the background picture engaging. These are some things that I wish LinkedIn would do. The technology to block connection requests, and also deleting groups. We talk about groups, and David, I don't know how successful the PSG group is there. I just launched a group yesterday, hoping for the best. I think there is a possibility for engagement, but a lot of us really hope that LinkedIn will someday get the message to do that. These are the things I wish LinkedIn would do. And I'm actually going to have an opportunity, hopefully in the next 3 or 4 weeks, to have a conversation with people at LinkedIn. Finally, I wish they'd organize the messages. We get better. If you think about your Outlook, you have different folders. I wish they'd let us do that. I wish they would give me the ability to pick and choose the newsletters I want. I don't want to opt out of all newsletters, but I also don't want to get 60 or 70 requests for them, because I mean, I know why people are doing it, but I don't agree with it. I don't think it's very beneficial, but I want to be able to kind of manage that. I wish LinkedIn, and David and I were talking about this, would just tell us what's going on. A little hidden secret about LinkedIn, Microsoft now purposely puts out a lot of changes every quarter. That's what is part of their process. They want to get as many changes out as possible to show that they're doing things. And LinkedIn is not LinkedIn, it's Microsoft, but they still don't have a mechanism for the communication of that. So it's very frustrating when we do presentations to keep them updated, but also to be relevant. I've suggested, and I'm going to suggest again, that they have a separate group for people like myself, and they are actually looking to do that at the end of the year. They've asked a bunch of us if we'd be willing to be into a separate group to be vetted. So again, that's another thing which I hope they follow up on. I wish that when we had events, they could let us create them as recurring, so I don't have to re-invite people, and I don't have to notify my network. If you've gone to one, you may want to go to another. I wish that they would let me catalog my posts. I can download them all, but I wish I had a way with folders to know what I posted 3 or 4 or 5 months ago. I wish they'd get rid of fake profiles. As you can tell, I'm a Don Quixote here. I wish and wish and wish. I wish they'd be transparent about how some posts do better than others. It's not content driven. I wish they'd tell me what an impression is. I have no idea what an impression is. I don't think they even know what an impression is. These are the changes that just came out in the last week. You now have the ability to create a template. A template is a nice way of saying it's a Canva thing. Create a template. You can have a link on it. This is where you do it from. I did it just to see what would happen. Not a big fan of it because I think it's very primitive, but then again, it's something to see. You can add a link in there. LinkedIn has a long way to go to make this more than eye candy. They really do. But I really do believe, and I've had a lot of conversations with people in LinkedIn and out of LinkedIn, that they are really trying, but they're not. But they're in a silo there. One group doesn't know what another group is doing, so they really have to get past that. So this is what LinkedIn Audio is. We'll be testing it together in a bit. When you go to LinkedIn, you're going to see this screen here, and you're going to see headshots of all the people that are joining afterward. And this was my first one. Christine, who's on the call, would see this. So you will see people. I'll be speaking. If anyone wants to speak, they can be invited up, and the rest of you will be listening. And it'll be no different than this. It'll be like, so if you want to ask me questions there, and you don't want to come up to the stage, it's not going to be as beneficial, but I would love you to come up to the stage. I'll show you some of the features on there as well. And this is going to be kind of replacing the networking after an event. So again, you will see this, and this is what I would see on my side here. If you select the three dots at the top when you get there, which is a really cool thing, you can enable closed captioning. So you're going to be able to see what people are saying. This is something which is great for those that are hard of hearing. When you select a person's profile, which you'll be able to do here, you can actually call up their profile in the background, and you can see their profile, and you can connect with them. So these are the good things about it. Anyone can join. The profiles are easy to browse, and it's very easy to go between desktop and mobile. I think David and I were talking. The easiest thing to do is going to be, after this is called, there's a link. The link is in my presentation, so I'm going to go there first. And then anyone who wants to come will be invited in. And it's really just us talking the same way. Other people may join from other places. It's very possible that people will just come in because they see we have a live event. And the cool thing about that is you just never know who's going to show up. Again, I wish they could be copied from one week to the other. I wish I knew in real time when an event was happening. Those of you who are on Clubhouse know that that's the case. You can list all the events there that are happening in real time. Now, the size of the audio widget is something that, as a host, I want to see it bigger so I can follow it better. It's very hard for me to know everything that's going on behind the scenes. So ideally, I want to have another person with me as a co-host for that. What I also have found really cool is that I had this person, Guy Stribash, I believe. He was speaking English with a Dutch accent, and I was curious to see how that would come out, and it came out pretty good. He actually started speaking in Dutch because they're rolling out other languages, and LinkedIn did a pretty good job of that. You know, it's always cool. I'm like that I want to try stuff out. LinkedIn is a toy store for me. I know that most people don't necessarily share my passion, but I just love playing with new things, LinkedIn things, if you will. So what I'm going to do now, which I just see the last one didn't actually show up. So let me go to the bottom here. I'm going to go right now to this. This is the link for the LinkedIn audio event. And I'm going to go, yeah.
Yeah, maybe if there are any questions for anyone, this might be a good
Oh, sure, absolutely. I didn't want to, you know, again, if you want to ask the questions now, fine. If not, I'm going to link to the event. We can ask the questions there. I wanted to give you a little bit of context as to what was going on. So I'm happy to answer questions. Any questions?
So folks, if you have any questions, we're not a big group, maybe you could just unmute or here, just raise your hand and come up to the
David, did you put the actual URL link in the chat? I really.
I did. Yep, I did a couple minutes.
Ken, I have a question, if I may.
Go ahead.
So, with all the changes that are going on, somebody like you who are intimately involved with LinkedIn, you're aware of all this stuff almost on an hourly basis, it seems. For those of us who don't spend so much time on LinkedIn, what's the best way to stay on top of these changes? Is there a place that they notify us, or is you're on your own?
Joey, I think the best way is just to check with us, because like Kevin Turner lists every change under the sun, and I don't believe that's very relevant. I try to post changes that are relevant to job seekers, so does Brenda, so do other people. But if you don't know the answer, ask us, because what we find very challenging is that you may see a change that I don't see, and vice versa. I mean, LinkedIn ideally should have a place, a repository, and they do, but you can't find it easily. Again, it's not a user-friendly platform.
Okay, thanks.
So Christine, I saw your question. You don't need a creator account to do a LinkedIn audio. In fact, once you get the ability, when you create an event on LinkedIn, it's going to ask you from a drop-down, do you want to have a LinkedIn Live event, a LinkedIn audio event, or just another event? What LinkedIn wants you to do is try things out. Now, to be honest, we are all the guinea pig beta testers here. And I know that, and I embrace that, because the only way they know if something works is if we try it. I mean, the Find Nearby was a great thing when it was out. They took it away. I know why they took it away. I'm not happy they did, but it was a dog and pony show thing. We'd all go to events. We'd say, here's LinkedIn Live. Here's the Find Nearby. Let's all be in the room. Let's all connect. So this is kind of what LinkedIn audio is for me right now. It's like a way for us to test something in real time. And David and I, we did a test. We think it worked. We think it's cool. I would urge everyone who's here to come up to the stage. It's not, it's the same group. I've been on LinkedIn audio events with hundreds of people, and it's a much more overwhelming thing. And I've been on some with 3 or 4 people. And know what it's all about. Decide if it's beneficial for you. Any other questions, David?
Ken, I want to make a comment, and I don't know how other people feel about it, but I reached a point of saturation with all the changes on LinkedIn. There is so much new I can absorb, and I reached a point that at this point, the spigot is off. I cannot accept new information. I'm still active. I still want to be relevant. I use LinkedIn, not so much for business, but to stay connected with you guys, with my friends and so forth. But I had enough of changes. When I need to learn something, I call you, and you know that. But I'm not able to absorb more information. I want to hear other people's input.
Let me just say this, Alex. There are so many changes on LinkedIn that I don't even share for that reason. Because if I did, my head would be spinning. And most of the changes that come out are just cosmetic. But yeah, I mean, the changes, what LinkedIn doesn't do enough of is really ask people what they want and just leave things alone. And that's just the way it is. I mean, I actually applied to work at LinkedIn many, many times, believe it or not. And so I totally understand that. And I'm happy to be the go-to for as many of you as possible for that reason.
Thank you.
Ken, how do you find out about the changes? Is it something that you just learn by
I find out about the changes from Kevin Turner, who finds out about the changes from his contact at LinkedIn. And we have a group, and we actually have a LinkedIn changes group where we all just talk about the changes, do a lot of Q&A, and then we each decide based on our audience what's relevant. I mean, there's changes that just rolled out in the last week that I think are ridiculous, but most of you would never understand them or want to find them. But knowing about them, because that one person that asks, Microsoft is LinkedIn now. It's not LinkedIn anymore. One of the things which I really proposed, I said it would be great if you have a subscription to the Microsoft 365, if you could add a LinkedIn Premium as part of that package, or something like that. I mean, I'm very leery with Microsoft giving them too much data also. I'm waiting for someone to build a better mousetrap than LinkedIn. I do think it's going to happen. It may be happening now for all I know. The main thing is just rely on a network. Ask us. I mean, the basics are still the same. Some of these things are going to go away and other things are going to come out. I think the challenge now is really just to, don't know the answer to something, just ask. And seriously, if any of you wrote a post, you should write a post about your experiences or do a poll. All right. So, David, if no one has anything else, I'm going to go to LinkedIn to the audio thing. I'm going to click on it. You're going to see it on my screen, which actually I'm going to have to get rid of because I don't want to. I want to exit the screen now. So let me first.
Just again in chat, it should be the most recent.
Can you stop making me presenter? Can you just
stop making you presenter?
I don't. Yeah, I don't want to be presenter for this because I can't be presenter and then actually manage the event.
Sure.
Okay, so that's good. So now I'm going to go there.
So I just did repost the link to the LinkedIn Live event.
Okay.
So let me go to the event.
So I'm live now. And I got people coming in little by little. If any of you want to be on the stage, just put your, just if you go to the icon, you can just let me know. Right now, I'm the only one speaking. I'm going to unmute myself. So now I'm here and I'm unmuted. And if you raise your hand, you can come to the stage or you can listen. I see Jeff allowing you to speak. Welcome to the stage. And this is what LinkedIn Live is all about. You know, we're just going to chat. And if anyone wants to come up, that's great. If you select on the person's picture there, if you select their picture, it says view profile, and you can view their profile and the like. So, Jeff, what do you think?
I'm curious about what the use case is for a job hunter creating an audio event.
I'm going to say this. I think it's great practice from a public speaking and interviewing perspective. I mean, are you going to find a job from a LinkedIn audio event? I tend to doubt it. But again, for now, this is like a shiny toy. You know, we all talk about all the changes. This is a shiny toy. It's now going to be rolled out again to other places. My opinion is this is going to eventually go away in time, like other things, or maybe it'll just be mobile driven. But again, if you are aware of it, like if someone wanted to ask a question here, I have an event with our job seeker events. I do a thing with Virginia Franco and Claire Davis, Lions and Tigers and Resume. We just chat. So from a job search, do I think you're going to get a job from LinkedIn Audio? Absolutely not. But again, it's just another thing. I mean, those of you that have been on before, like Joey and Christine, you know, you can speak to this a little bit differently than me. In fact, if you guys want to come up to the stage, I'd love to give, you know, I'd love to get your thoughts on what you've seen in these. Otherwise, it's just me chatting. Okay.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, we can't do that. I'm going to see, again, this is what I mean, one of the challenges that we have here is that we bring people up to the stage and I'm trying. Okay, there's Walter. Welcome. Welcome to the stage, Walter. Feel like chiming in? Hi, Walter. You have to unmute yourself with the bottom right there. And I'm still trying to get you up, Alan. This is the what's going on here? Well, oh, one person has to speak. Allow. Let's try it from there.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold up a second because I'm having a hard time getting the session up on the screen here, and I don't want you to go too far ahead. What I will ask you to do is mute your microphone because remember we had the feedback from broadcasting from two platforms.
I'm muting now.
Okay, so hopefully we're in the.
Ken, this is Walter.
But there's an echo here.
I was
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's, oops. That's interesting because I just unmuted myself. So this is why it's helpful. Like, all right, David, I'm echoing. Better? So,
In my
so
case,
anyway,
I left the stage on LinkedIn. So you may be seeing me with an unmuted mic on GoToMeeting. Correct.
mhm. Mhm. No, no, this is just a way to, this is a demo. I mean, do I think this is going to be a viable thing for everyone? Probably not. But what I'll do from time to time is I may do an event here and invite a few people. And again, this is a way for me to share what's out there. And with a lot of the changes, it's really, do you want to use it or not? But being aware of it. I mean, this is the type of thing where if I wanted to get together with a couple of people, I mean, look, there's easier ways to do it, whether it's by Zoom or phone call, but understanding it's a possibility. I mean, again, this has just been rolled out in the last few months. So again, taking advantage of it, but understanding it. Again, I don't know how I feel about it yet, but I wanted to bring this up so everyone can get a sense of what it might be like. Because again, I only know what I know, and I like to get an idea what other people think.
right. I think that combined with
They actually are planning on doing a video component. That's going to be rolled out next year. So you're going to be able to do a video directly on here as opposed to using a streaming service. Where it's probably going to be tested next January, February. This is like the first precursor. If this works, they'll do other things. But then the question then becomes, how is that going to be different from everything else? See, this is like, we did this on Clubhouse all the time, and LinkedIn actually was listening into Clubhouse, if you will, and they got some ideas for this. Do I think this is beneficial? Maybe. One of the big issues now is you can't find these events easily. You don't even know if there's an audio event to go to unless you get invited to it. So it's in its infancy. So it's anyone's guess how this went.
I was going to say, the uses I can see for it are a person like you who's an expert in many different aspects of that you could create training session using their tools, using
See, as an example, Walter, if you do a selection, you can of the image, you can do a thing where it says view profile, and I'm looking at you, and I'm looking at your profile right now. So, like, if I'm talking, but anyone can do that, and that's what's cool about it. So it's like if you have like someone may say, I have a question about my LinkedIn profile. I'll say, well, let's call it up and look at it. Now, the advantage is it's audio, so that if I'm here in a t-shirt and shorts, doesn't matter. I can do this on my phone. There's a lot of good possibilities. It just, again, it depends on what the person is going to do with this technology. I mean, I wanted to kind of show this today this is like the second demo I've done, just to let people be aware of it. Some of you have been in these meetings before on the stage, and I love to get feedback from others about this.
So Ken?
Yeah.
Yeah, question in the room here is, why might job seekers want to use this tool?
Well, I think the answer is, if you find an event or of interest, like I do a resume event with Virginia Franco and Claire Davis. We will invite people, and then people can have questions about a specific topic. From a job search perspective, I'm not going to guarantee this is any better than anything else. It's another thing to be familiar with. I've done these in different ways. I think knowing about it is helpful, but in the infancy of Clubhouse, there wasn't a job search tool, and eventually it became one. I think it all depends on how many people actually take advantage of it. You know, for now, it's kind of like in its infancy. So the truth is, I'm not sure.
This is Charlie R. I was going to say something, but I didn't quite figure out the technical end of speaking on the event. But what I wanted to say was many, many years ago, we had a young graduate from bachelor's degree working for us in Eatontown. And he got hired because of one word on his resume. It was paradox. And at that time, it was company was rolling out across the board. They made a technical decision to roll out paradox across their corporation, and everybody would learn it and work with it. And then they found out they had hardly anybody that knew it. And this kid had been working in it. And because of that one word on the resume, he got hired and put into a group to lead the rest of the 7 people into the use of this project, of this piece of software. So familiarity with something can be everything you need if somebody finds you. It's a differentiator. And this is one more tool.
I agree. I mean, like I said, this is really in the infancy now, but if you're aware of it and you try it, this is just one of those things to think about. I mean, I wanted to show this to you. I'm still figuring it out, just so you're aware of the technology and what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but Ken, I just want to thank you so much for, as always, participating with us and presenting this. Just given a little bit of bumpiness here on this side only, I think I'd like to just wrap up the meeting. Of course, Ken's information, I will post that if I haven't already in the chat in just a minute, or Ken is welcome to. And Ken, also, if you don't mind, if you can, send me the slide deck to post a little bit later. Yep,
Absolutely.
so we'll have that as well. I want to let you know the events that are coming up over the next couple of weeks here. So we will be right back here at the Princeton Public Library with only one audio tool, not 2, so hopefully won't be as much of a challenge. And that'll be Jan Goodman. Jan Goodman from the Workforce Development Office in Somerset will be here. How to thrive during transition and change. So she's going to be able to talk about that really from the perspective of seeing from the state, people that come to the state as well. So great that she'll be here. That will be here next week. For those of you who will visit us at the library in person, we'll actually be at the room upstairs, not in this room. So just be aware of that. And then the following week, Bill LaChance will be here. Bill LaChance and Sean Levinson, they are financial planners, but they don't talk about wealth strategies. They talk about money-saving strategies during a career transition, which includes health insurance, taxes, college savings, things like that. So he's not trying to sell you anything from a financial planning point of view, but really give you good advice now that you're going through a transition, and also some end-of-year changes as well, which could be the healthcare-oriented stuff. So Bill comes here once a year, the only financial planner that we do allow in the program, because we don't want the salesy ones. And then also, tomorrow morning, the Breakfast Club of New Jersey is giving a presentation. They do their monthly meeting every second Saturday of the month. So it'll be Alex Freund. Alex will be virtual, and he'll be talking about a virtual topic, which is the bot is ready to interview you. If you didn't know it, a lot of companies are using interview bots, kind of apps that will do the pre-screening and interviewing. So Alex will be talking about that tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, thebreakfastclubnj.com, thebreakfastclubnj.com. And then also New Jersey Job Seekers meets on the second and fourth Tuesday evening of the month at 7:30. I posted their connection information in our LinkedIn group. It's too long of a link to give you, so go check that out. And don't forget visiting our cousin organizations, CNJ, PSGCNJ.biz. The PSG of Central New Jersey meets on Monday mornings, PSGCNJ.biz, and PSG of Morris County meets on Wednesdays at 9:30 a.m., psgmc.org. So terrific. So that is our program for today. We'll keep the meeting room open for you folks who want to hang around if that's something you wish to do. We'll do that for a little while, and I will entertain the folks that are here as well. So until we get to see you again, hopefully either tomorrow morning at the Breakfast Club or at the Job Seekers, and Tuesday evening, we'll simply say bye, everybody.